Welcome, cherished viewers and listeners. This is the Hive Podcast. Welcome to today's episode. So in this episode, we are going to be talking about education technology. Very interesting topic. My name is Japheth Selorm, and I'll be your host for this episode. And to handle this topic on education technology, we have here a very amazing and top-notch person in this area. So I have Benjamin Etonam. So Benjamin is the founder of Prep AI, which is an education technology platform for students. He's also an expert in software development and AI, specifically also a researcher in that space with some vast level of knowledge in these areas. He'll be giving us insights in the subject of education technology. So, hello, Benjamin. Welcome to the Hive Podcast.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here.
We're also glad to have you here. So, let's dive straight into it. We're talking about education technology. It's quite a topical aspect of technology in a part of the world. And I'm personally so interested in this area because statistics show that in Africa we hold like 60% of the world's young population. It means that the future of skilled labor is in a part of the world. Bringing about, the importance of upscaling our educational technology. And you find out that in the COVID-19 period, it really revealed the gaps in our education system. And so that actually sparked a lot of innovation and revolution in terms of education technology. I want to ask you, what would, as an expert or as a developer in education technology, what would you see as the trends as pertaining to education technology now?
Well, we'll start with one of the trends that is kind of popular this year or the past 3 years is artificial intelligence in education. It started very simple, but now it's getting very good grounds. We're also seeing the use of software to enhance education. And I'm not talking about just schools, I'm talking about the normal education, the formal and the informal education, language learning and all that. Yeah. So the biggest part of it right now is AI. AI is helping with that a lot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's rightly true. When we see all the generative AI tools today, it's as if education cannot continue on its own anymore, except these generative AI tools are embraced. So, rightly so, we have these trends coming up, okay, and these technologies in educational technology. But what would you see as some opportunity gaps or some more trends and the opportunity gaps that can still be explored by any individual when it comes to education technology?
Okay, well, I'll start with the things that already exist so that we can go in further. In our landscape, one of the big problems we have to solve is the adoption. We have to bring the technology to the level that it can be adopted by the users, right? So, in the beginning, I talked about artificial intelligence and its use in education. It started with the use of large language models to index documents, and then you can ask questions. So, more like a RAG system, retrieval augmented generation. It started small that way, and then we started seeing tools that can help in the classroom, like assessments. Faisal is doing amazing work with trying to mark exams questions for us. Perhaps AI and some other startups in Ghana and then across the world are also working on generating mock questions for students. And then you're even getting it to a point where it's going to be standardized so that people who are practicing for SAT can use such tools. You can see that it's kind of like help you, the student, get a feedback on what you've learned, right? So you've learned something, and then you don't know which gaps like you have, like things that you need to brush up on. Exactly. And then once you use these tools, they kind of like assess you and give you that feedback. In the traditional way, you have to give it to an expert. Like you have to get someone who can mentor you and give you feedback on what you've done wrong. But in this case, not that you don't need that, but it has become easier for you to get access to self-assessment. And teachers can also use it to assess students, right? If you have a large class and you want to assess students with AI technology, you can see that when you take everyone's script or answer booklet or sheets, you can pass it through the systems and then they mark it for you and then they give you a report on every student. So you can now say, oh, this student, this is what you have not learned well. And you can give the reports back to the student and then the person, you can even modify the report before you give it to the student. The student knows, okay, this is what I have not learned well, rather than the student just chasing like, I want to get a good grade and all that. So that's one of them.
That's really important because sometimes they just dump the answer sheet or the your worksheets to you with the scores, and then that's the end of it. You don't know what to do next. They leave you to figure out what to do next with your score. But I think that's such a benefit from AI and educational technologies which are powered by AI to give you feedback that you can act on to improve on your educational endeavor.
Yeah. So now talking about what I was talking about is the adoption. So the use of school management systems, right? So right now the schools that are using it most are private institutions. They are privately owned and they can pay for the service fees of the softwares. But if we can get one that is either open source or is a free digital tool, I can say that we can easily adopt it into the, how do you call it?
Schools.
Yeah, the public schools, and it can be hosted on any of the computers on the network. In this way, it can make it easy for us to send or bring in new technology. Say something like the assessment tool. If there is a school management system, it's going to be easier for it to scale to schools, right? Okay. Where teachers can actually use it in the classroom, okay. Right? So that's the part that I'm talking about. And then another part with innovation is, with the AI innovation, is using it to augment already existing materials, okay. Right? A lecturer has prepared a material or a teacher has prepared a material on a particular topic.
Okay.
And what they are using, what we can do with AI is give AI the material. Mm-hmm. AI goes around the web or other materials that it has available, pick pieces of information from all those places, okay. And then, enhance the knowledge. Because the knowledge in that is either coming from one source
or limited source.
But if you pass that material through the AI system, it's just acting like an automation. Right. It goes, open a lot of documents, compares the knowledge, and then compare and then contrast with them, and then pick the one that best suits to teach the student. Exactly. Yeah, and then you can also tailor it to work with the curriculum or something.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's one of the
trends.
The trends, and then another thing that I've kind of like chanced someone work on is open library for education. So trying to take our books, right, that are no more in use. Not like the knowledge in them are not useful, especially the storybooks, right? And they're trying to convert them from the normal, traditional hardware form into an electronic format, right? Awesome. So scan all these documents, convert them into an electronic format, and then host them in a library, like an online library. Yeah. And the idea, after I spoke to him, my friend working on it is called Adams, right?
Okay.
And what he is saying is that you can download the whole library and put it in a school. So it will be in the library. You have a computer, you can open the library and then open a book and read. So basically, you're kind of like converting the books that are owned by the public into a digital form that can be shared across schools. So schools that don't have that particular physical book can have the electronic version, and the student can easily access that knowledge.
So you can channel the resources in building a large library facility into some other things.
Yes.
Once we have that online.
That's true.
Amazing.
Yeah. So this thing with the school management system is not only for integrating with the tools that are coming up in maybe universities or stuff like that. It's also help for auditing, right? Okay. So the thing about some students and like parents, I can be giving my report cards, but if they are not channeled to my parents, some people don't send it back to their parents.
That's very true.
Like they keep it throughout the whole years, and maybe the only thing their parents get to see is, how do you call it, their final.
Especially when you don't do well.
Yeah. I mean, so in that case, we can easily connect the students and then their parents, right? So kind of like the PTA,
Exactly.
all on the same platform. So you can easily get easy reports on what is going on in school. So you can easily monitor that. Oh, my child, this is what he has done on this test, right? You can kind of like guide the person, kind of like mentorship. So it's more of a way for us to either collect data that we can easily analyze and guide to more like work efficiently, or we can also use it to help the parents, right? So that's one of them. Another space that is very much worth exploring is using games, right? Educative games.
Educative games.
Yeah.
Truly. I think Duolingo is one of them.
Yes, Duolingo is one of them, and people are also working with simulations.
Okay.
Right? They're trying to put the classroom into a virtual reality,
Exactly.
a VR headset.
So all of the immersive experience.
Yeah, so you can kind of, you are doing chemistry, you can kind of like have the beaker in there, you can have the whole set over there, and then you can do experiments. Even though these are scripted, they give you a visual,
Exactly.
how do you call it, representation of the knowledge.
Exactly.
And something that is visual sticks with us for a very long period of time, right? So imagine something that you just read in book, in just text, is now in the form of visual experiments. You
That will
can,
certainly give you a good insight to
yeah.
what to do. So, I mean, just to round up quickly and wrap up this episode, we have seen some amazing trends so far in education technology. But there were trends before, there are trends now, there will be trends in the future.
Yeah.
So what does the future look like? Looking at the trends we have now, what are the opportunity gaps and how can someone position themselves to be relevant in the near future as the next trend makers in education technology?
Okay, so because I'm coming from the technology side, like I can only kind of talk more about the technology side, which is, if you are a tech person, means that you are the one going to solve the problem. You are the one going to see the problems that are around and then put them into a solution that is easily usable by the user. Most of the time, the person building it is not going to be the person using it. By the time maybe you are done building, you're out of school, right? So kind of like learning from the people who are in school and then tailoring the solution to fit that. So an example is the school management system. We already have school management systems, right?
Exactly.
But it is not in the form that can be deployed in our traditional schools. That's the thing. So we have to get it in the form that can be deployed in our traditional school. Works offline and online. Means local first.
Exactly.
Whether the user is offline or online, the user can use it. When they come online, the data is synced to the cloud, so that other people in maybe other departments can have access to the data and then work with. So those are some of the things that we have to add to this technology before we can deploy it at a large scale.
Amazing.
Another one is the open sourceness, right? About the school management system. If we can make it open source, it gives the government, or I would say the public, the opportunity to use it without any licensing fees, right? It makes it easy for public schools to be able to integrate it into
Their system.
in their
So it makes
systems.
integration easier
Yeah.
with other systems.
Yeah. So basically, some of those things have to be open source. So those are the kind of things that I am seeing. If we can open source those software and then make a standardized data
What do you mean
collection.
when we say open source?
Yeah.
Could you just...
So making the software free and available to anyone that can modify it, right? Okay. So if you want to read it, you should be able to go inside, modify the code to do what you want. You should be able to use it without paying for it. The free and open source.
Make it
right?
custom tailored to
your needs. So it means that if the public takes it to use for public schools, they can be able to customize it, add features to it, so that they can use it without any limitation. Because if it's proprietary, it means that the government has to pay a lot of licensing fees to be able to use it. That's the thing. So that is why I think the open source route would really work for future school management softwares.
Amazing. Awesome. So those are the opportunities that can be explored and the gaps that can be explored in the educational technology space. So, just in the next 30 seconds, 1 minute, your last words to anyone who has been inspired, has been ignited about the opportunities or the trends in educational technology. What should they be thinking about next?
Actually, they should be solving real world problems.
Real world problems.
Yes. Then you should listen to your users. Like, if you build something, you listen to them, because most of the time, the solutions we build, we are not the ones using it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to listen to the person who is using it. Or we should learn from our users. I should put it that way. Sometimes you listen, but you have to learn from what the person has said, so that you can. Yeah. So you should learn from our users, and then we should also. How do I put it? Innovate, right?
Okay.
So we already have the solution, but sometimes we can improve on it. So we can improve.
So instead of invention, innovation.
Yeah. So we have all the technologies. We can piece them together to solve the problem. It's more like innovation for us.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then speed up.
All right. Has been a wonderful time with you in this episode. Thank you so much for the insights. So to our viewers and listeners too, I trust that this episode has been insightful and educative for you. So many things to know, so many things to take action on and to take advantage of. Education technology is the way to go, especially in our part of the world. Watch out for the next episode.